Hi little Beppies and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to explain why the Isle Evrima is my favorite dinosaur game, or really one thing it really exceeds at, and how it in my opinion towers over Path of Titans especially. So let's dive right into it. First of all, there's a huge difference from Legacy to Evrima that makes Evrima stand way above Legacy. Sure, you have art attacks, better graphics, semi-aquatics, diets, which are all nice improvements, and not having to collect sea turtle shells is also really nice. But the point in which Evrima just destroys both Legacy and POT is realism. Now listen to me. When I say realism, I do not mean accurate dinosaur designs. I mean, while I'm not into the lore of the Isle too much, sorry, I do think that, like in Jurassic Park, they added DNA to complete the genomes of certain species. I mean, there's hypos, so that would only make sense. What I mean is that it works as a realistic ecosystem. At least so far, everything has its own ecological niche. No niche is occupied twice. And the game feels like this as well. Now despite this, some creatures will be, well, not be that twice, but very similar to each other, and may need some adjustments to fit into their own niche. Like Acro and Alberto as well as Zuko. Look at Path of Titans on the other hand. Not only are the animations clunky AF, but the playables repeat themselves. You have an ant playing itself exactly like a raptor, or a whole bunch of fat carnivores being just each other but with different stats. And the same can be said about Legacy. Evrima, however, doesn't do this. Every dinosaur fills its very own niche and is given a unique playstyle. Also, Evrima is quality over quantity, if we're talking about producement. Now I don't blame you if you enjoy POT, it's up to you. But personally, there's a reason I do not enjoy official Evrimas, hot test or PvP servers. It takes away this realism. Depending on the server, like PvP for example, the game actually feels like an ecosystem, as long as the performance feels good. I just remember growing a baby in the Highland Lake for once, and it felt so cool. I felt like I was in a documentary by Poutine Italien about the Highlands, and when I played Tenno there the other day, I got the same feeling. What also happens is that this game encourages realistic behavior, rather than unrealistic, and mixed with the human mind behind every dinosaur. This makes it even more interesting. Do I try killing that young Chimera to protect my children and myself from it when it's older? Or do I not follow it inside the forest because its parents could be lurking? The choices you make are crucial. It can be over any second, and if you die, you die. You have to start all over again. And this is another thing I love so much. In this game, you aren't the player playing a dinosaur, you are the dinosaur, if you get what I mean. You actually fear for your dinosaur life because the entire game feels like a proper ecosystem and you are an animal inside of it. However, I feel like all those awesome things about Evrima get overshadowed by all the negative things. And people complaining about Evrima forget how good it is compared to other games, aiming for the same thing. If you think the game is unbalanced because not everyone can kill anyone, then you obviously don't understand that this is an ecosystem, not a PvP game. PvP is fun, but knowing what fights to pick and what to avoid is another fun part about this. You know, obviously, as a Beppy, I shouldn't run into a fight with a fully grown Dilo. However, a juvie Dilo or a subadult in water? I can do that if they attack. Anyway, back to my point. The devs taking time for the creatures is something many are annoyed about, but look at Path of Titans. The devs take way less time, but in exchange, the creatures feel less unique and especially animations look clunky and unrealistic. I mean, this game, a Hetzogopterus can pick up an Eotrag and fly away with it. I mean, I'm not saying POT is a bad game. If you like it or not, that is up to you. But I feel like many just do not see how good and realistic Evrima is compared to other dinosaur games. Although there are many points people can criticize. Heck, I criticize them myself. But personally, I think it's overdone and oftentimes we just hear bullshit arguments. Like the one streamer whose name I forgot, thinking this was a dinosaur battle royale and not even appreciating things like growth. He just wanted to get it done to have a killer machine. And funnily enough, this man actually says Cerrado was underpowered. Why? Because he couldn't easily destroy Dibbles and Stegos with the Solocera. A corpse bully isn't even supposed to do it in the first place. Matter of fact, he got so mad even Dondi talked to him about it. And also because he has many followers and Dondi want to clear things up. Yet he didn't seem to be okay with this. I mean, he understood, but was unhappy with the results, which I honestly think is pretty sad. I mean, just don't play the game if you want to play Dinosaur Battle Royale. Either go on a PvP server or play POT, where that doesn't mean losing everything and the focus is more on PvP. When Dondi explained why a solo Shredder can't easily destroy a Dibble, the chat responded with, "Oh, you only play Dibble and that is why it's so busted." No people, and it's not even busted in the first place. It's just that it doesn't have its counterpart yet, being Allo. And now that they won't release Rex, people are complaining as well, saying, "This dev team is so shitty, they cannot get anything done because it takes so long. The game has been developing for 10 years. But let's be real, when they do release something, it's actually good. So I'm asking people to stop their unjust hate towards the devs because they don't get what they want and talk about things the devs are actually doing wrong, such as certain balance changes like Dilo, which has been either OP or completely useless forever now, or Khan not being able to be a small game hunter because of his beat resistance and agility. Although about that, people made noise and has been buffed in Horde test, now growing quicker, having more bleed resistance and a better agility. Kano can now actually fill his niche of a small game hunter. Now there are several more balancing issues, like Maya being crap, which has been buffed as well, and you've got to give the devs credit for that, actually listening to us while still being far from crowdfunded. So what do you think? Do you agree that the devs receive a lot of undeserved hate, or do you think they are a bullshit team? Like, subscribe and tell me in the comments. See ya!